Hello, all you beautiful book babes. Today we will be continuing our Stalker month. This one we have Mila. She believes she is a nobody and just going through the motions of life. She has no close family or friends and not a penny to her name. She is quite the opposite of the other lead, James. James has money and is the starting quarterback of their school's team. He used to be a playboy, but one look at Mila and his whole world has changed. One day he spots her in the library and becomes obsessed with her. Every new piece of information he finds out about her, he becomes more obsessed. But will it ever be enough? Stay tuned to find out more. Hello, all you beautiful book babes. Welcome to this will be episode 4. Yep, 4. So we are trucking right along. Today we are going to be reading Stalked by the Quarterback by Mayra Statham. This is one of my favorite books. You didn't read it till I told you about it. Yep. It is one of my favorites, and it's actually really funny because this author helped me out a lot when I was writing my book.
Oh yeah, I remember you said you reached out to her. That's
yeah, I posted a small review on TikTok saying my favorite stalker romance of all time is this book. Mm-hmm. And she ended up messaging me and I was asking her questions and she was like my first like author kind of person that I could connect with.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. Yeah, she's one of my favorites and I can't wait for her to hear this if she listens to it. I might message her on TikTok and be like, hey, guess what I did?
Yeah. And I mean, this is one of the books you read, like you said, you like to read the same books over and over whenever you go to bed, and this is one of the books that you read a lot.
Oh, yeah. I read this all the time when I'm trying to... and it's nothing bad. Like, people are like, oh, you fall asleep when you read it? It must not be that entertaining.
No, I fall asleep all the time.
Thank you.
Like, I'm laying in bed, not moving, just so wrapped up in the story. Next thing you know, my husband turns out the lights, and my ass is
yeah.
Conked.
It's just one of those things I need... I think it's like my ADD or something, where I need to always be doing something.
Yeah.
So even when I'm falling asleep, I need something to do so my brain's not like...
Yeah, I get
overload. It's like meditating.
Yeah.
It's my meditation. Reading this book is my meditation. It brings me comfort. It brings me comfort and joy. So today it's Stalked by the Quarterback. As you know from our last episode, we are big Stalker fans.
Fucking love it.
This one's a short one, and I did play around with my formatting a little. I took no notes because I've read this 20 million times.
Yep. We normally have a screen with notes of what we want to discuss, and her screen is characters.
It's just to keep my characters straight. Because shoot, I have a book of all my characters that I've ever created in a book. Just to keep them straight when I'm writing. We're going to start off. So chapter 1, we have our main characters. We have Mila. Mila? I always
You could say it either way. Mila or Mila.
It's kind of how, like, I say Sandra and everyone else in the South says Sandra.
Or like how I said harem and you said harem. Or,
yeah.
You know.
I'm like, wait, you say that again?
Yeah, it's just, I guess,
it's how
reference.
You say it.
Yeah.
And then you have the other main character, Jane. We have several characters that are kind of main characters, but I kind of threw Mila's friend in there, Marcy. So Marcy does not live by her, goes to a different school. Like, so I really don't, like, they're not best of friends.
Right.
Then you have James, the male character, the lead. And then you have his friends, Marshall and Hemi.
Yeah.
In chapter 1, Mila's at home. She is just, doing her homework. They're in college. And they don't really stay at a dorm. They stay in an apartment building. So Mila is there trying to work on a paper. The music is freaking booming over at James's place.
Like a normal college party.
Yeah, like a normal college party. The freaking noise is crazy. So she is texting her friend complaining like, oh my god, they need to shut off this music. I don't know what to do, because she is so socially awkward and anxiety. She's like, I can't go over and talk to him. Like, I'll freaking break down. Like, she's a stutter.
Yeah.
When she talks, because she just is like so caught up.
She doesn't like to interact with people and doesn't want that confrontation to have to ask them.
Yeah, exactly. So she her friend's like, go get you some, and it's super flirty, and she's like, make sure you dress cute, and Mila's like, why would I dress cute to go yell at them? And she goes, if you don't know, I'm not explaining. So that was like really cute, their little text message conversation. Then, so she finally is like, okay, I'm just gonna go over and be nice about it. I'm just gonna go over and tell him. So she goes, knocks on the door. When she knocks on the door, James comes out, her kind of like college crush. Mm-hmm. He comes out shirtless. I don't know why this happens in all my books. It happened last time too, where her crush just comes over and just shirtless. So
thirst trapping.
It just keeps coming with these books. I have a problem, apparently.
I mean, hey.
So he's just naked, and she is like, again with her social anxiety, she's just like, she doesn't know what to say. She's just stunned because he's shirtless, and she's just, of course she's like staring at him, so he's like, you see something you like? That breaks her out of it. She's like, so she starts to talk, he can't hear it because of the music.
Yeah.
They kept the music on. He actually leads her out and is like, I can't hear you, and just moves, and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I can't hear you. And goes to in her apartment, like leads her there, and that first indication, I was like, why are you taking her to her apartment?
Yeah.
Just so you can hear her
shirtless.
talk. Just turn off the music.
Or step away from the house at least a little bit.
Well, it's not the house. Remember, it's an apartment. So
True.
It's going to be like a hallway. They walk down the hallway. Now they're in her apartment. And James is kind of nonchalant when he's talking to her. She goes ahead and he's like, he notices the papers that she's working on. So he's like, oh, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm writing a paper, and then James is like, oh, the music's too loud. And so he's like, okay, I'll go turn it off. And so he calls her Champ. I love that name. It's so cute. So he's like, okay, I'm going to turn down the music, Champ. Make sure you lock up. And I'll leave.
It's kind of kiddie, though. Like, if someone calls me Champ, I'd be like, am I your kid?
Well, you find out later that he calls her Champ because of his obsession. He needs a name to give her, so he doesn't call her like baby or princess or anything like that.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know. Now it's a two POV, so he's like, okay, go ahead, lock up. And she's like, okay, and locks the door, and he leaves. Now we get into chapter 2. This is from James's point of view. He's been stalking her for a while. Your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, stalker. So he's been stalking her for a while, and this kind of goes into detail, chapter 2, about his obsession. He actually is so obsessed with her, he has a key to her place.
Oh, shit.
Yep, has a key to her place and has snuck in all the time. First he saw her, then he started to find little tidbits of information about her when he found out, okay, I'm obsessed with her. Mm-hmm. And it was actually at a library. He just saw her, and then
that was it.
World change. I think that happens a lot with stalker books.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's really, because I've never met a real stalker.
I would think it would have to be like some kind of reaction, like something to kind of draw on, because like
I would think it would build, but it feels like it's almost instant every single time in these books.
Yeah, but like with your book, it was more realistic because it was something that happened that made Rachel focus on Nikki, and I think that's how it would be more in real life. Like, it's not really just first, I see you and that's it. I mean, it could be.
I mean, yeah. But we're not like that.
Mostly, I would think if you're going to stalk someone, it's because you had some type of interaction with them, or something happened that they were some part of like a big thing in your life. They got you fired from a job, or
it makes you fixate them.
Yeah, it's something to make them fixate. Right word. I was looking for that. Thank you.
I feel like I do that to you too. I'm like, what's the word? What's the word? I was looking for, last episode, I was looking for psychology. I'm like, what's the word?
You're brain. Like, what am I thinking? And I'm like, I don't fucking know what you're thinking.
No, I think my thought process was, I'm like pointing at my brain and I'm like, study of the brain. What is that word?
This word. What is this word?
I'm pointing to my brain like, what is that word? And you're like, your brain? What is happening? Oh my god. But yeah, so James saw her at the library, love at first sight, became obsessed with her. So he started finding more information about her and kind of like picking up things. So he actually used to stay with his 2 roommates. He used to stay at this like beautiful apartment, like dorm. Mm-hmm. That's for athletes at colleges. They normally have those special dorms for athletes because you got to think they help make money for the school.
Yeah. And
their college is a Division I, so it's kind of like, how would I best describe it? You know how Georgia's really big on college football?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
Like, it's a really crazy Division One team college football town. He moves out of his dorm and makes his friends, Hemi and Marshall. He makes Hemi and Marshall move with him to this like beat up old apartment building.
Just to be near her.
Just to be near her. And then he convinces the superintendent to actually give him a key. I don't know. So this is a plot hole.
Sweet.
So sweet.
Such a sweet guy.
He probably did that. Like, it doesn't give us details on how he convinced him, but it was probably of that nature. Like, I need to go water her plants.
But no, the fact that he moved to be near her, that's so sweet.
Wow, we really love stalkers if that's what we're calling sweet.
I love, like, red flags in books are green flags to me. Yeah. Like, CRJ, whenever she does her red flag thing, I'm like, I don't see no red flags.
Oh, we need to
These are green.
We need to do that for Stalker Month.
Yeah.
We gotta do one of her books. You just need to pick the guy and we'll do it.
I love a lot of them, so probably go with the OG, though.
Oh, OG?
OG.
No Disney?
No Disney.
Oh my god. Anyway, so he moves in with her, or not moves in with her, moves in her building, gets her key. He steals her stuff, has a whole freaking shrine of her. Takes pictures of her. He stalks her every life.
Hell yeah.
He told her to lock up, but he even says in the book, that's not going to keep him out. Because he has his key. So this is the first time he's ever going into her apartment when she's there. He thought he was caught right away because, so how she has it, it's a couch facing, like, the door, and she was sleeping on it. So he thought he was caught. He was like, shit, I'm caught. He was not. She was so tired, so he goes kind of into what he's learned about her. Because she doesn't talk too much about herself. It's almost like you get to see her in his eyes. That's kind of why I like it so much.
Yeah.
Because when you're thinking of being in the mind of the stalker, you don't think of being in the mind of the person opposite. You think about, okay, the stalker found out everything.
Yeah.
So we're going to let him tell the story.
Exactly.
He is talking to her, or not talking to her, oh my god, thinking in his head. He's thinking in his head, and he's like, he's stolen stuff. Basically, now he's still thinking, so now he's watching her, and come to find out, like, she is poor. She has no money. She is paying for herself through college. Mm-hmm. Mayra doesn't go into, like, if she has a family or not. She kind of talks to her mom, but not really. So there's not much there. He is so upset because she's so exhausted because she worked 2 shifts and had school that day.
Yeah.
So she is working crazy hours, and he is the opposite. So he has an inheritance that literally he could probably not even spend through
in his lifetime.
In his lifetimes. He's like the complete opposite. He's having a hard time taking that step in pursuing her.
Yeah.
Because he is, so right now they're going to football playoffs. When they are, NHL is actually watching them now because it's their last one.
Yeah.
He's struggling. He's like, I need to be focusing on football. She needs to be focusing on school. We shouldn't get into a relationship.
Right. And that first chapter was their first time interacting with each other, right? Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they really don't interact.
Before then?
Now he's kind of edged on. So she kicked off her blanket, so he goes to move it and place it on her. Come to find out she's dreaming about him. Because she said, like, she starts moaning and says James, and that spurs him on. He's like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. We're doing this. I don't care. He's like, you know what? I'll make it work with football. Her finals, screw it. Who says I couldn't help her?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you know what? We're doing this. And now it's the next morning. So when they were talking, she says she was going to stay up all night because she's not a morning person to finish her paper. So he took that and ran with it. He went ahead and got, like, breakfast stuff, got her coffee, got, her favorite breakfast foods.
See what I mean? Stalkers are sweet. They know everything about you.
They know everything. They know what ticks you off.
Yeah, they know your favorite foods, what time you go to bed.
They don't
what
mess
you're
with
wearing at night.
Yeah, like, they don't mess with anything. He brought her favorite food, and she's kind of taken back. She's like, what is happening? Why are you here? And she's so shocked that he kind of, like, when he finally goes, hey, hey, I see your feet under the door. That freaks her out, and she opens it, and she's so confused and groggy. She just woke up. He says, screw it, and was like, well, good morning to you, champ, and kisses her on the head, and it was so cute, and sneaks into her apartment, or slides right in. When he's there, she's freaking out. She's like, why are you here? What are you doing? And he's like, I brought breakfast. Or what did he call it? He called it something so weird.
Prerequisites, I think.
Prerequisites?
Prerequisites,
That's what
yeah.
it is. He's like, and she's like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you said you're not a morning person. She's so confused right now, because this guy has not given her the time of day.
Right.
And now he's here, like, asking everything. So he's like, prerequisites. I brought you breakfast. God damn it. She goes, okay, I'm gonna go change. And he's just like, okay. She goes to change, and when she comes back, she's still confused. She's just like, I'm so confused. Why are you here? His friend knows about his stalker-ness. So Marshall actually, while she was gone, texted him like, hey, you still there? He goes, he's like, yep, I'm still here. He goes, cool, see you at practice. He's just like, whatever, you're good. You got your girl, bye.
Such supportive friends. See?
Yep.
Love supportive friends.
Yeah. And so she was like, I'm sorry, I had to go get changed. She was like, are you staying? What's happening? And he's like, do you want me to leave? And he knows. He's like, shit, this is gonna give her a chance to say yes. But he's kind of like, I need to take this risk. Gotta risk it to get the biscuit. She's like, no, I don't want you to leave. So they sit down, and he goes to serve her breakfast. He kind of inhales a little deeply. Like, I don't want to say he sniffs her, but that's what she calls it. Yeah. She's like, did you just sniff me? Like, and of course, poor Mila has so many insecurities. She's just like, oh, do I smell bad? I would be concerned. I'd be like, you sniff me? What a weird motherfucker.
I sniff my husband.
See, Billy doesn't wear cologne, so I don't have a reason.
Well, Jesse just started wearing cologne, but like, Jesse doesn't sweat. This dude does not sweat. He could be sitting there outside and he doesn't sweat. Well, the little bit he does sweat, he never stinks.
One person like that.
Well, he doesn't stink. He sweats a little tiny bit, but like, he doesn't stink, and like, his musk just smells really good. So like, even after he's been outside all day, I'm like,
he doesn't have overactive sweat glands.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
see,
he smells so damn good, and all the time, that like, I used to, whenever we first got together, I actually used to sleep in his armpit, like have my head right there, because he smelled so damn good.
You weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the stalker here.
Yeah, you're the stalker. You're like, sniff me.
Yeah, like, I love to sniff him. He smells good.
So she realizes, she's like, oh, I smell bad. You know what? You can take this, give your roommates the food, you can leave.
Yeah.
He's freaked out. He goes, oh my god, I screwed up. I don't know what to do. How do I get her back? Like, he is just like, okay, she's having a panic attack. I need to stop her. So he pulls her and is like, you need to breathe. Breathe with me. And that's like their whole thing. When she gets anxiety, he tells her, you need to breathe with me, and puts like her hand on her chest. My husband kind of does the same thing when I have panic attacks. He goes, you need to breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe with me.
In
Deep breath. Woosah.
Every time we get mad at work, I'm like, woosah.
Oh my god. Woosah. And I'm like, I do not need woosah.
Shut up, Nicole. You know woosah here.
There ain't no woosah here. Mama's mad. But yeah, so she calms down a little bit, and she's like, I'm sorry I smell. He's like, you smell like fucking peaches. It's so freaking cute. And she was like, do you not like peaches? Is that why you think I don't, like, smell good? And he goes, no, I love them. The opposite. She's like, oh. And then, you know, he gets close. You know, he's starting to, like, ease in and almost kiss her. And, of course, she just pops up from his lap and is like, I have fruit. Like, that's such an awkward thing. And he's like, what do you mean you have fruit? She goes, well, you like peaches? I have fruit. I'm like, this is so freaking cute. Oh my god. Like, I can't with her. She's just so adorable. He's like, wait, why are you telling me to eat fruit? Like, what's happening? And she goes, well, you're a football player. You're not supposed to eat all these sweets, because all her favorite breakfast food is, like, sweets and sugar.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can't have anything sweet. He has a sweet tooth. And she's just like, oh. And it's just, like, really awkward, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like that build up.
Yeah.
So then he like cages her to stop her about the fruit. He's like, come on, stop. He doesn't come out and say it, but he like cages her, and her back's against the fridge. I'm trying to set up the scene. Her back's against the fridge, and he like cages her, both fists on either side of her. And so he's looking at her, and they're just staring at each other for a moment. And he asks her, like, okay, what do you want? That's all he asked. He didn't say, like, out of life or for me. It confuses her. And then he asks, he's like, has anyone ever kissed you before? Panic attack through and through. She's like, I need space. I need space. And he just straight tells her, anything but space, please. Like, I don't want to back away. Then her alarm goes off. Fantastic. It kind of killed the moment. He was like, dang it, I should have taken better control. And the last words of that chapter, he even says, he goes, funny, I thought I was in control. Because as soon as Mila turns the alarm off, she actually kisses him. This is her first kiss ever. She's never kissed anybody, sex, nothing. Complete virgin. So, and she's been trying to save her kiss for someone special.
Yeah.
But it's almost like in her head, she says, fuck it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she's so attracted to James, she can't. It's like when you're a horny teenager and you have your first kiss. You just can't help it.
And plus, he's right there in your face. Like, why the fuck not?
Yeah. Then he starts carrying her. The kiss gets heated real quick. So he picks her up and carries her. She's in a studio apartment, so the bed's kind of like in the living room, kind of. So he takes her to the bed. It's getting real feisty. She's straddling him. So he's laying back and she's straddling him. And she notices something bulging. And just because you're hard. Like, and he's like, you have no idea. You know, they kind of keep going, and he calls her Champ, and she's like, why do you call me Champ? And he goes, doesn't matter. Champ, little winner, princess, baby, it all means the same thing. And she's like, what does it mean? And he goes, you're mine. And I'm like, damn.
I love that trope whenever the guy's like, mine.
Like, you're mine. End of story. So they start getting frisky. They don't really get into touching. They're just kind of dry humping.
Yeah.
It's college.
Heavy make-out session with some petting.
You know, he's saying he's perfect, and then his phone goes off, and Mila's like, what is happening? And he's like, it's up to you. And she's like, what are you talking about? It's up to me. And he's like, if I go to football practice, I'll stay if you want me to. And she's like, that's bad. No, you gotta go. She goes, I don't know much about football, but being a Division I team head quarterback and you missing practice and then you can't play, that's a problem.
Not only that, like, probably in her head everything's going like so fast. Like you said, she's inexperienced, she's not really social, and this is only really her second interaction with James, so she's probably like,
what the fuck?
Go. Like, I need space.
Yeah.
Go.
That's almost like how you say you don't like fast romances.
Yeah.
Mila is your girl.
Exactly. She's like, slow the hell down.
Mila is your girl. She just tells him no, it's important, and it's more important, and he tells her, like, no, you're more important. She's like, well, you know, I lied about finishing my paper. Technically, she finished last night, but she told him that she wasn't finished, so he'd stay longer. She was like, well, I do have that paper to finish, so yeah, you need to go.
Yeah.
And he asks her to the game, and sadly, she's working, so she says she can't. She's covering a shift. She's really embarrassed by it, because he comes from money and is, you know, popular, and she is just like this poor little nobody.
Yeah, doesn't want to get looked down on by him.
Yeah, so she just is like, oh, I'm covering a shift, when really she's trying to make more money. But he asked if he could see her, and she says, well, I work late. He says, I'm fine with that. And then she asked him the big question, what's going on here? Because it was like 0 to 100 real quick.
Like, she just first talked to him the night before, so yeah, it is moving fast for her.
Yeah, so, and he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, between us? His phone keeps ringing while they're trying to have this conversation. And it's just like, you have to go. And he's like, fine. So he leaves. Now we're at chapter 4. It's after the game. This is really quick book. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But sometimes people like that. They just like a quick little read. I feel like I don't get caught up in those short books, so that's why it's easy to sleep.
I do. Like, even if it's shorter and there's not a lot of world building, this actually had great world building. I actually really enjoyed this one. But even for it being a short read, it's only 120 pages, and I was wrapped up in it. I finished it probably in like an hour or two, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember because it's been a while since I first read it, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah. So now James, it's after his game. They won, of course. Big brag. Gotta brag. He won. Oh wait, no. I'm ahead of the game. Hold up, back up. It's before the game.
Yep.
It's before the game. She's already on her first shift. She didn't start the second shift yet. And he goes over to her apartment because he feels like he needs to breathe the air that is her.
Psycho.
He feels so at ease in her space. He can smell her, touch her things. Like, it just calms his nerves. Like, he tried to, like, take care of himself and try to sleep before the game or take a bath, and just nothing was working.
Yeah.
He is too egged on right now. And that's kind of why I think he did not want to start it, because now he is just so obsessed with her, he can't focus on football.
Yeah.
He goes ahead and goes to her apartment since she's working anyway. He's like, I'm gonna go to the apartment. I'll feel better. So he's kind of going over her things, and then he decides to jerk off. It's kind of like, okay, I need a fix.
Yeah. He's surrounded by her stuff, her smell, and he's hard.
Yeah, he's always hard. That's like all through the whole book. Like, it doesn't go soft. We always like a man that's ready.
Yeah, of course. That doesn't happen in real life.
True stories. But he went ahead, so he found some shorts, and that's kind of what he jerks off to. He like see, this is the part I don't understand about books, when the stalkers kind of wrap their clothings around their dicks and jerk off.
Hurt?
Thank you.
I just actually, in the book we're going to do next, Amusement, I was actually just went through a scene like that where he'd done something like that, and that was my first thought too. Like, how? There's no lube, no nothing. Like, this cloth is rubbing up against you, unless it's silk, which a lot of times it's not. Like,
no, she's poor, so it can't be silk. He just says it's soft material, and that's like, it's soft, and he's trying to think, oh, she'll be soft and hot.
I don't know. I don't have a dick, so I can't tell you.
See, this is what I tell my husband. I wish I had a dick so I understood that part. Like, every girl is like, oh, I want to pee the snow. I'm like, no, I want to feel male orgasm.
Right?
Because women, they're so small orgasms.
Yeah.
It's, like, so small and just, like, meh. It's big for us, but, like, if we ever, like, let's say, became a man for a day and had a man orgasm, a female orgasm's never going to do it again.
Probably not. They seem to have, like, a holy experience. I don't know.
I know! Oh my god, it's almost like they saw Jesus when they come off. So I'm just like, so he comes in her shorts, and he is ready to find the next freaking material to freaking mark. He is like he's very marketive. Like, he is like, I need to mark everything that she owns like a freaking, like, it's like a dog peeing. He's
right.
like, I need to come on everything.
Right. It's mine.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'll just put it in the hamper in the middle and she'll just wash it. It'll be fine.
Jesus.
So she starts to hear the freaking doorknob, and it's freaking her. She's home early for her break in between shifts, and he's like, oh shit, I'm in here. But then he tries to find a hiding place, so he hides under the bed, and his friend is talking to her in the hallway, and I'm like, supportive friend, even for a stalker.
Because like you said, Marshall knew about this, so...
Yeah, so Marshall was like, oh shit, when he heard her out in the hallway, he rushed out to talk to her to distract her so he could at least hide or something.
Yeah, give him time to get away.
Yeah, so like... Well, hello, all you beautiful book babes. I am sorry for the interruption, but I am pleased to tell you today we have our first sponsor. So this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby is an energy drink with no sugar, but does not give you that jittery feeling or crash after you drink it. It has no fillers, artificial colors, dyes, sugar, or all the other BS. My personal favorite drink is the Beach and Peach for when I need that extra pick-me-up when editing our podcast all night. All you have to do is click the link in the description, or because I know links can be a little finicky, go to www.dubby.gg and in the coupon code field put SMUT, S-M-U-T, for 10% off your order. Thanks for listening. The next chapter is all the small talk between Marshall and Mila. So Marshall comes out and is like, hey, you coming to the game tonight? I have extra tickets. Like, he is just like, it's so awkward because they've never talked, ever. She's like, no, I can't make it. And he goes, here, just have the tickets anyway. And she's like, no, donate them. Like, I really don't need your fancy tickets. I can't make it. And he goes, well, you can sell them. And she's just like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, give it to someone in need. He distracts her long enough with this conversation about the tickets that she doesn't even think about it. She's just like, okay, I'm gonna go into my place. And then gives him enough time for James to sneak under her bed. Now she walks in, she starts talking just kind of freely. So, like, she needs new sneakers, but she can't afford it. So she's like, great, something else to replace. That's an important comment for later. Because you gotta think, James is listening to this whole conversation.
Oh, of course, he's under the bed.
So, real stalker.
Yeah.
Then she finally says it out loud. James was her first kiss.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, he is hearing all of this, and it's almost like waking out under the bed. Like, we don't know it at the time because it's from her point of view.
Yeah.
But he comes back to do it. Then she goes ahead, and so she's freaking out about the kiss, but she's also super turned on because, like, they were dry humping. It was super hot for her. She starts to play. And of course, frickin', she doesn't know James is there. So then she's like moaning his name and really starting to get into it. Her alarm goes off. She has to go back to work.
Oh, God.
Who does that? Let me go jerk off on my break.
Right? Jesus. Like, you don't have enough time to even get off. Well, she would have if Marshall wouldn't have stopped her. Damn.
Yeah, she could have got off. Like, James could have had a show. So her alarm goes off that she has to go back to work. So she goes and takes a quick cold shower. She notices something while she's showering, like a figure. But she doesn't have her glasses on, so she can't see. So she's like, oh my god, I think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
So she's just like, whatever. Then she's like, okay, I'm losing my mind. But then she makes, it's like almost like Mayra gives little tidbits, but the characters don't notice. So, like, the last sentence is like, before I left, I made sure to grab my dirty clothes off the bed and toss them in the hamper, never realizing the mint green panties she kicked off were missing. So it's almost like breaking that third wall.
Yeah.
She likes to break it, so you always like, you're like, oh, she put them in the hamper. Don't think about the underwear.
Yeah.
So now we're back at James. Now it's after the football game. They won. Marshall's there kind of hanging out with him. Everyone else has left. James is kind of waiting because Mila doesn't get off till late, so he's kind of waiting it out. He's pacing back and forth, kind of freaking out about what happened, and even Marshall's like, hey, you need to pay attention. Like, you need to listen. Like, you're gonna get caught. You almost got caught today. James, of course, is not worried about it. James is like, oh my god, she has to buy shoes. I should buy her shoes. Like, she said I was her first kiss. Like, those are the things he's thinking about. He's worried about what she said. He's not getting through to Marshall's not getting through to him, so he's like, do you not hear me? You are going to get caught, and you are going to ruin your chances of joining the, I keep saying NHL, but it's NFL.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Hockey fan.
I'm an idiot. I don't watch football. That's my husband. That's not me. It's actually really funny. Billy was the other night was like, when's hockey coming back on? I'm like, who are you? I was like, normally that's me. I'm like counting down the days.
Yeah.
Because, like, the first Flyers game is in October, and I'm like, Jesus, why?
I remember you saying that he really doesn't care for your hockey.
Now he freaking loves it. And I'm like, oh my god, that is so funny. He gets, like, now he's like, I can't wait till hockey's back on. Oh my god, I turned him into a hockey fan. But anyway, so he's like, and that's my favorite line in the whole book. Marshall actually goes, you need to lock her down before you get locked up. I'm like, that is so freaking funny. Then Marshall is like, okay, she needs new kicks. You need to buy her new kicks. You need to step up if you're going to do something.
Yeah.
He even tells James that he's like, oh, you found someone. Like, you found the one. You're obsessed with her. And this is kind of where Mayra kind of eases in. Marshall kind of found someone similar that he's kind of obsessed with. So, and that kind of goes into the series.
Yeah.
They go, and he's like, okay. Marshall's like, hey, you want to go to a party? And he goes, no. And he goes, okay, you want to go to a coffee shop where Mila works? And he's like, yeah. And Marshall's like, how about instead of stalking her, you actually, walk in and ask her if you could walk her home?
Talk to her, interact. Get this relationship going, dude.
Like, let's move it. And he's just like, oh, that's not a bad idea. Like,
never thought of that before.
like, it's so dumbfounding that actually go talk to him.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you're so smart. And he's like, what are you gonna do, Marshall? He's like, I'm gonna go sit at the wine bar that's across the street. You walk your champ home. I'm surprised she didn't, like, make a comment. Like, James didn't make a comment. Like, you can't call her champ.
Well, yeah.
Like, any kind of, like, a stalker. It's like a CRJ. I can't keep referring back to CR James, but her main thing is stalkers. It's like when Ari calls Monroe
best friend. Yeah, he freaks out. I was like, not your best friend.
So that's like kind of what I think about. I'm like, oh, you're calling him champ? I'm like, how is he not freaking out right now?
You're right, because that would have went with the personality he's got. He's mine, yeah. You're right.
But yeah, so it's like really funny, and he's like, I'm just gonna chill. And then on the drive over, he starts to reflect. So before he met Mila, he was not a saint at all. Like, he was super, like, partying.
He's the star of the football team, of course. Popular.
He was having random sex.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I need to be a better man for her. An obsessed one, but a better one. And I'm like, oh my God. And she just has these cute little quips.
Yeah.
That's so adorable. Now we're at Mila, and it is her. She's at work. James, she goes, oh, we're closed, because she hears the door. And he's like, he just stands there, and she's like, oh, it's you. Like, hey. Her boss comes out all mad, and he's like, we're closed. And this is where his, like, obsessiveness comes out, because he's like, oh, I know you're closed. I'm here for her.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck? And he starts yelling at Mila, like, what the fuck is this? And James is like, you don't talk to her that way. Like, seething, like, really mad.
Yeah.
And then, of course, her boss is like, you know what? I'm pissed at you now. You're gonna do all the closing stuff while I do the back stuff. And she's like, great. Now she has to stay late. James feels so upset, like, bad, because now she has to stay even longer.
Yeah.
But he does something really cute. He helps her. Like, she's trying to just get him to leave so she can finish work, and she's like, we can hang out another time. Like, I'm just pissed at this point.
Yeah. It's not really his fault. Like, how was he supposed to know the boss was going to be a total douchebag? But at least he offered, like, he realized, hey, this is kind of my fault for this, so let me help out.
Yeah, but then she's like, she finally kind of gives in and is like, okay, you'll do this and this, and I'll do that and that. Well, he does almost everything. He does almost everything. So then he walks her home, and he's talking about the game. She's like, okay, so how'd your game go? And she's really not into football, but she's like, you know what, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go home and Google a bunch of stuff about football. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's kind of like me and my husband. Like, when we like something, we try to get into it for each other.
Yeah.
And try to, like, relate. They're finally at her apartment, and he asks her, like, doesn't say bye or anything. It's just like, you want to come over tomorrow? And she's like, wait, what about, I thought we were hanging out now. Like, she's so confused.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, breathe. I just want to make sure I'll see you tomorrow as well.
He's making plans. Like, this is not the last time you're gonna see me.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Then she's like, I just need to know I'll see you tomorrow. And she's like, I have laundry to do. Like, what a bullshit. But it's because, so, laundromats at apartments. I used to live in an apartment building. The laundromats in apartment buildings are so expensive.
Really?
Because it's convenience.
True.
They can charge whatever they want.
That's true.
So I would literally drive out of my way to, like, the bad part of town to those laundromats because it was like 25 cents.
Yeah.
For a load of laundry. So it was way cheaper. So that's what she does to save money. And she's like, well, I have to go across town to do my laundry. She doesn't go into detail because obviously she's still kind of nervous for him to find out that she's poor.
Yeah.
Of course he knows, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah. She doesn't know that he knows so much about her yet.
And then he tells her, he's like, well, I have machines. And it's so funny because she kind of goes, good for you. Like, she doesn't think about that he's inviting her over to use them. She's just like, good for you, I guess. Like, I don't see where this is going, but okay. And he goes, no, come use my machines tomorrow and wash your clothes. So she's like, will I be a bother? Like, her stutter comes out. It's a whole thing. Like, she's so nervous. He's like, it's not going to be a bother. Just come over. I'll cook. We'll watch movies. And she starts to warm up and is like, okay. Then it kind of gets intense. He's like, tell me to go home. And she's like, why? And he's like, because if I go in there, I might not stop. I might pressure you into something. I don't want to do that to you. So he's protecting her from him, basically. Because it's like how he says it in his head, he has a beast that woke it up inside of him when he saw her.
Yeah.
So he's trying to keep the beast at bay.
Yeah. Like, he wants her really bad, but he doesn't want to take her too fast and scare her away.
Exactly, because that happened in the morning with the breakfast and everything. It scared her off, so he's like, oh god. She's like, no, I don't want you to stop. I still want to kiss you, and it's your turn to initiate. I love that little clip. She's like, it's your turn to start it. Then she invites him in after their kiss, and he's just like really trying to hold back. He's like, please stop inviting me in.
Tell me to go home.
She's not having it. She goes, come on. Come on in. And she pulls him in. It gets really heated. The spice is really good. Like, she writes, it's kind of nice. Like, yes, these are short books, but she does bring the spice.
Yeah.
I will say that. It's very detailed, and it's kind of crazy because she's just like, you know what, I'm going to live in the moment right now, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna give you my virginity.
Yeah, she finds her confidence.
Yeah, she does. She literally finds her confidence, and she falters a little bit. She's like, are you hard? And he's like, well, duh. I don't know why she keeps asking him. Like I said, he's hard all the time. It doesn't go down. It literally says that in the book. So she keeps asking, and he's just like, you know what, ignore it. We don't have to do anything. Like, he's trying not to pressure her.
Yeah.
But she's still egging him on. She's like, I'm sorry, do you not want to? And he's like, stop saying that.
Yeah, you can't be saying that.
Stop. She tells him, she was like, I want to, like, she has a hard time with her words, so she's like, you want to, like, and points to her bed. I'm like, that is such a dork. I live for it, but it's so awkward. Like, how would you feel if a guy walked up to you and go, you want to go and point to your bed?
I would laugh.
I would just
I'm sorry, I would laugh. I'd just be like, what? And then just bust out laughing.
Exactly. It's in James's point of view now when they start it, and he is just so excited, and it's like so crazy. He is just like beast, like he is wanting to rip her clothes off, but he tries to hold back, really restraining himself with everything that he does. He keeps going, I'm sorry, this is gonna hurt. And she's like, I don't care. She's like, make it hurt. And he's like, please don't say that. Because he's like, I want to give you everything you ever wanted, so please do not say that right now. I'm trying to be good. So he's literally, it's happening, and the beast keeps going more mine throughout the whole freaking scene.
Yeah.
Whoopsie, they didn't use a condom.
I love breeding kinks though. So every time they use a condom, I'm like, damn it. But every time they don't in stories, I'm like, I love it.
Yeah. Whoopsie. Obviously, James knew. He was just like, he's like, oh, he was like, they're starting to relax and sleep. And he's like, hey, I didn't wrap up. And she's like, I'm not on birth control.
Oh, fun.
And he is just happy as can be. Because it's kind of like that stalker thing where it's like, oh, you have to be with me now.
Yeah.
You have to, because you might have my baby.
Exactly.
So he is super excited. He goes, great. Whatever happens, we are together. And she's like, what are you talking? This is when she's starting to finally put it together. She's like, he's fucking crazy. What the hell? You cannot want a baby. And he's like, I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. Because to be honest, we're going to be together forever. You're going to have my baby eventually. If it happens now, it happens now. Okay. Like, how is she not running?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would be kind of freaked out too.
I'd be like, sir.
If I was in her position, being like so awkward and kind of like shy and stuff, and he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you get pregnant, you're gonna have one anyway. And it's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Like, excuse me, I could barely afford school and to live. What the fuck you mean it's gonna happen? Like, no, I just met you.
Yeah, like, no, sir. Now we're at the next day. They fall asleep, but it's the next day. James, of course, is freaking Mr. Beast, but he's been restraining himself.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, it was her first time. She's sore. She doesn't, like, you know. He's trying to give her to heal and be respectful. So all they do is cuddle, maybe kiss, watch movies, and do her laundry. So apparently, this is a big plot hole in this. It took her all weekend to do her laundry. It's Sunday.
Wow. I mean, maybe because they were just hanging out. Like, she said that she had to do laundry, but it does say that he spent the weekend with her, so maybe it was just...
They finally finished or something?
Yeah, they finally finished.
Because it was like, the next day was supposed to be Saturday, now it's Sunday, and now it's finished?
Yeah.
I was like...
I see where you're going.
This actually was confusing for me. Like, the first time I read it, I was like, cool, whatever. But now I'm like, I think about it, I'm like, wait, I thought they were doing her laundry yesterday. I'm confused.
Right. Like, what happened?
So now he's pissed because it's Sunday and they're going to have to go back to school. He has football. He's like, it was the perfect weekend. Why does it have to stop? So he's lugging her laundry basket, pissed. He's like, her socks belong next to mine. Like, they're supposed to live next to mine for the next 70 years and we're going to be happy. Like, why do I have to take it back?
Yeah, he wants more time with her and he's mad that it's
over. And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna go, bye. Because she's just like, since he's been distancing himself to kind of let her heal, she thinks she's getting in her feels and she's like, oh, he doesn't want me.
Right.
It was just a one night stand thing. I gave him my virginity. I fucked up. Like,
yeah.
Bye. You don't want this? Obviously you don't. He is ticked. Ticked when he finally figures that out. He is like, she's like, she went to go home and he follows her. When he follows her, he then is like, she's like, what are you doing? He's like, hanging out? And she's like, you obviously don't want this, bye. And pissed, he's like, what do you mean I don't want this? What are you talking about? She goes, well, you haven't tried to do anything.
You haven't touched me since that night.
Yeah, you haven't touched me. What do you think I'm gonna think? And he's just like, I didn't touch you because it was your first time and you're healing. So that spurs him on. He goes, you know what? Fine then, let's go. That goes, so then they go ahead and he actually gets his dream. So throughout the whole book, he talks about how he wants her to ride him on the couch. So that's what he does. He makes her ride him on the couch. And it's so cute. I don't know why I think that's cute. Like,
he gets it.
He gets his wish.
He gets her on the couch. Yay.
I love when the stalkers get their way.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm obsessed with stalkers. I like it.
I stalk stalkers. Oh my god. Now it flashes forward to a week. So we're getting to the end of the book. And they've literally spent all their time in her apartment. She's not really thinking of anything too specific. She's in her apartment. She's talking to her friend on the phone, Marcy. Mm-hmm. So Marcy might come stay with her. All this other stuff. Tonight's the big game. She's gonna go see James finally play football. She hasn't been to a game yet because she always works. She finally got someone to cover her shift. He forgot to give her the ticket. So he texts her and is like, hey, Hemi's home. Ask him for the tickets that I left you. And she's like, okay. Doesn't think anything of it. Mila goes, Hemi's like, oh, I don't know where the tickets are. They're probably in his room. It kind of gets her mind going. She's like, I've never been in his room.
Yeah. That's
so weird. So she goes into his room. Hemi doesn't think he did anything wrong.
So was Hemi aware of the stalking like Marshall was?
So Marshall and James are closer.
Okay.
Hemi knows, but he doesn't know the extent.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I've read something about Hemi whenever he did find out, but I can't remember exactly
That's the second book when he finds out about Marshall.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Marshall takes it an extra step and does cameras in the girl's apartment, and so Hemi's like, dude, that's even worse, because Hemi is a criminal justice major, and he's like, dude, what the fuck are you two doing?
Yeah.
I'm literally going to school to put you guys away.
Like, you need to understand, Hemi. Whenever you get the one, you do anything, dude.
Yeah, you gotta do it. And so she goes into his room, can't find the ticket. So she just kind of is looking around. She finds a pair of underwear. And I guess she doesn't recognize it at first.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize it's her underwear. So she thinks, oh my god, he's cheating. There was another girl here. Because she's never been to his room, so how did her underwear get there?
Exactly. She wasn't expecting to see her stuff there.
Yeah, so she goes to look for a bathroom because she's getting nauseous and, like, sick. She's like, oh my god, I'm going to throw up because he's cheating on me. She finds a door. She opens it. It is not the bathroom. It is his closet, and it is a whole shrine of her. Pictures, her body wash, apparently one of her used razors,
Jesus
little
Christ.
articles of clothing. Like, the whole thing is filled with her, like, used stuff.
Jesus. I think he took it a little bit too far.
Yeah,
but
like, it's like... Myra went full stalker, like
Yeah.
shrine, the whole thing. I think that's why I like it, because most stalker books, they don't make a shrine of the person.
No, they just follow them and say you're mine.
She finds the shrine, and then I guess, I don't know how James shows up. I don't know. I'm thinking Hemi texted him, like, hey, she's gonna go look for the tickets in your room. That's the only thing I can think of. It doesn't say that, but, like, that was my...
That's probably what happened. Like, it's like, hey, I can't find the tickets, so I sent my to your room, so...
Because he just shows up in his football gear, like, fully pads and everything, and is like, he sprinted there and was like, what are you doing in here?
Yeah.
Like, freaking out, and she's, like, stunned. She doesn't know what to say. She thinks she imagined it, so she actually looks back at the closet again, and she's like, nope, still there. So she goes and she books it. She's like, I gotta go. So she runs out, and of course James follows her. He's like, you're freaking out. Please don't freak out. I'm obsessed with you. And he actually pins it on her. He goes, how did you not know? I mean,
this is your fault.
Well, he's not wrong. He's not. He knew all her favorite breakfast foods.
Yeah.
He made comments about her Hello Kitty jammies.
Yeah.
And didn't see her in them. He said, oh, well, I'm going to have your baby, so it's fine that we didn't use a condom the first time. I'm
You're
like,
gonna have one anyway.
yeah, like, all the signs were there, so he's not wrong.
The missing panties, which you should have noticed.
Yeah.
Especially whenever she was in the shower. She literally just took them off to go shower. How did you not notice that whenever you grabbed your clothes to put them in the hamper, you're missing that one particular article?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
It was there.
It was all there. So James is not wrong to go, well, how did you not know?
Yeah.
He's like, I think I made it obvious. He begs her. He's like, please come to the game. You're freaking out. I won't be able to play and, focus on football if you're freaking out at home. Please just come to the game. Come watch me play so I know you're there and it'll be done. She keeps telling him no, not going to do it. So she tries to give back the tickets. He goes, no, keep them. Please come to the game. Just don't say no. That's it. So then he leaves and then she goes back to the shrine. She goes back to the shrine to kind of, I guess, confront it. I don't know.
Yeah.
She goes back to confront it, and she finds a book. So remember how the first time he saw her was in a library?
Yeah.
It's the exact book she was looking at. And it has a little verb in it. And it says, the first time I saw you, you stole my heart and soul. You ripped my sanity away with the way you touched this book. And she remembers when she got the book and when he fell in love with her.
Yeah.
And it all kind of comes back and she's like, I love him too. Yeah, she just like, the chapter ends and she loves him too. So we're at the football game now. James is playing like shit.
He's stressed. He's like, what the fuck's happening?
He is playing like he is stressed, like he's freaking out. So the coach comes up to him yelling and screaming, and he has an envelope, and it's the envelope that her tickets were in. So he's like, this better fix it. Whatever it is. Whatever's going on with you, this better fix it. There's a note, and it says, I get it now. After the game, meet me where it all began. Quit playing like crap too. I hate my first game I ever went to was a loss. Don't make me feel like a bad luck charm. It kind of gets him going. He's like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like,
gives him hope.
She accepts him, basically. And he's just like, he tells his coach he's got it, he's gonna win. Go ahead and win. And so it's just, the game just ended. He looks to the stand and she's gone. And he just realized her note was basically a game to go find her.
Right.
So the key was to go find her where it all began. And he's like, okay, let's just feed into my little obsession.
Yeah. I think it even has a line where it says, like, she wanted to be stalked by the quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does. I mean, shit, that sounds nice to me. If I was in high school and the quarterback of my high school team wanted to stalk me, I'd be like, okay.
I'd find an open field, let him chase me.
That's actually, Hemi's thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hemi likes to
Ooh,
chase.
I don't think I read Hemi's. I know I read Marshall's and James, but I don't remember reading Hemi's.
Hemi's is all, so you know how each book she has like a theme to her stalking.
Yeah.
So James was the shrine and her things. You have Marshall was the cameras.
Yep.
Hemi's is chasing.
Hoo, hoo, hoo.
And like and he admits it at the end of the book. He's like, I want you in the woods and I want to chase you.
Hell
And
yeah.
then fuck you where you stand. And bam!
Yep. That's exactly my kind
So
of
you
guy.
need to read Hemi.
Yeah, I think I need to go get Hemi.
Hemi. And then she did the coach and the assistant coach now. Now
Oh,
she's in the
really?
coaches. Yeah, she does. So she does the 3 football players, then does the coach, and then the assistant coach. The coach is my favorite. Very daddy dom.
Oh, really?
He falls in love with a college girl.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's very, very daddy. Anyway, so now Mila's at the library and James shows up. She admits to him that she wished him to life. So the day in the library, she was feeling very upset and alone, and she wished for a friend or a lover. She's like, I just want someone to connect to.
Yeah, she needed someone.
She made that wish when she was looking at that book, and that's when James became obsessed. So it's kind of like it all
came together. The universe was like,
here, people. And that's when she tells him, I love you. And he's like, I'll be that. I'll be your friend. I'll be your lover. I'll be anything you want to be. Just be in my life. And she says she loves him. And now we're getting to the epilogue. This is years later. Years. So now he is the quarterback of an NFL team. You know, he kind of goes into like after she found out, he told her everything.
Yeah.
The key, the apartment, her things. She accepted him.
I mean, she was lonely. Like you said, her family really isn't mentioned, so we don't know what her family life is. But it sounds like she would have been probably orphaned or something, and like she literally had no one. So her and her best friend was miles away, so it's not like someone she could rely on that well.
Yeah.
She was having she's in college and was alone.
Yeah.
So I would accept him too.
Yeah. So it's just one of those, she accepts him, but he never stopped stalking her. Like, never. Even after they're married. He just got home. He was supposed to be home tomorrow.
Yeah.
He got an early flight home, and he told her, did not tell her he was going to be home, but told her, you were to go to bed naked. Then he gets home, and she's pretending to fall asleep, be asleep, and he's like, he's jerking off to his wife. I'm like, you really are stalking your wife. This is the way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
So it literally is just like, it's showing in their marriage that and he's like, she normally comes to his away games with him because he's so obsessed, and she didn't this time, and he straight up tell her, when she finally woke up, he's like, 2 days is too long. No more. It's never happening again. And it's just so cute because they just kind of find each other.
Yeah, and it's a short read, so that one, technically, it's only 105 pages because it ends right at the epilogue. So you still got coming soon, like the preview to the other books, but 105 pages, you could read that in like maybe an hour. And it's really good for a short story. Like I said, normally my short stories are full of smut, and while this does have it, it actually has a plot to it. I like
so
that.
It's a nice change.
It is.
It's a nice change to a short story. There's some plot holes, but I'm pretty okay with it. It's a well-balanced book for how short it is.
You actually introduced me to her because you found her, the author, and you were like, you need to read this. And I remember, like, I read it, and I was like, holy shit, I need the next one, like, immediately. And luckily, it was already out, so, like, I immediately downloaded it, and it took no time to get through. I don't know why I didn't read Hemi.
I don't know either.
Because I normally...
Hemi is your guy, like I said.
That's what I'm saying. I probably got tired. That's the thing about me. I get tired of tropes like that, so, like, I can't read back to back of the same thing.
I gotcha.
So if it's the same thing, it's all football, all stalker. So it was the same thing over and over. So after reading James and Marshall, more than likely, I'm like 99.9% sure, I was like, all right, I need something new.
Yeah. I get that. I get that a lot. So now we're going to get into our ratings. So let's go with Spice first. So Spice is not just how much smut is in the book, it's also like how detailed it is, how graphic. This one I would give a 3 out of 5. Reason being, it's not all smut.
No, it's not, but yeah, they had good scenes.
It had those, like, 2 or 3 good scenes. There was one fade to black I didn't appreciate, but she still gave details about it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I made her ride me all night long on the couch. Like, even though she did a fade to black,
you still got some of the details of what happened.
Yeah.
So it kind of made it better.
The next is humor. Humor is basically how funny it is. Cute little jokes, quips, kind of like that. I gave her a 1 out of 5. I really didn't pick up on any particular jokes. It was very serious.
Yeah.
Emotional, that can be a mix of things, like how the characters make me feel, how it really, like, affects your emotions while you're reading it.
Yep.
This one, I'm between, like, a 2 and a 3. Because there's sometimes I really want to scream at Mila and be like, girl,
yeah,
how do you not know?
Yeah.
There's no sad parts, it's more frustration.
Exactly.
It's like, how do you not know this man is stalking you?
Yeah.
And then act surprised.
Yeah.
You have no right. World building, I give this, I'm between a 3 and a 4. Reason being, yes, it is a short book, but she does give some background details.
She does.
In that short period of time. She gives details about James, she gave details about Mila, she's missing some family stuff,
Yeah.
so maybe, like, more towards 3 out of 5. I mean, she gave details about the friend, too.
Yeah.
Like, she gave for a short book, she did pack it full of details.
Yeah.
So I'll give her that.
And their chemistry was actually pretty good, too. Like, I think they fit kind of well together as their character traits for James and Mila. So their chemistry together was good, too.
Yeah. So, overall, yeah, like a 3 to a 4. Overall, I gave it a 4. Reason being is, yes, there's a couple plot holes, you know. It's a nice balance of smut. Like, I really love this book. This made me love stalkers.
Yeah.
Like, it was my little intro to stalkers. I read this before I read C.R. Jane.
Yeah.
Like, it was perfect. It's that perfect, because it's not super dark. It's just this nice, light, little, cute stalker book.
Yeah, it was a cute little story, too. Like, it wasn't super dark or anything like that. I like how, like you said, in the later series, like, each one has their own way of stalking, and
that's why I love her.
Yeah.
She just, like, yes, she's writing the same book, but she almost gives you that perception, like, every stalker kind of has their thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Photos, videos, chasing, like, everyone has their little thing. And so this is, like, his was, of course, the things, which is the normal stalker stuff. But I love that she actually breaks it down like that.
Yep, it was a good read.
That is all. You babes have a wonderful day. And also, please do not forget to follow us on TikTok and Instagram. It is going to be basic.book.babes.podcast. It's where we post little tidbits about our shows and kind of give you a sneak peek into what's going to be next. So please make sure you follow us and subscribe to our podcast. We also are on various different platforms. We have YouTube, Spotify. I'm struggling with Apple. Apple is very difficult. You would think it would be easy, but it's very difficult. So we should be on Apple soon. And then, yeah, and don't forget to join us next time. Again, this is Stalker Month, so every week we will have a new stalker. You babes have a wonderful day. Bye.